Let's go through the use of the database and taking routes. Your access for the database is on the Analysis panel under the Asset for Asset Database. You will notice as you go down a tree control for the different areas and sections, these will dynamically change: green for add, blue edit, red delete. We're going to come on down to a given unit train, unit, positions, and measurement points. Let's go to an area and add a new unit train being motor and pump. Give it a name. Now we have to name the two units. If we give it a unique model number and manufacturer and name, we could do a block copy function later. Give it a category, which is in this case obviously is a motor. Maybe it's a DC motor and we have further descriptions. Then we go through, and usually you're not going to modify unless you want to have a unique name for the different positions. Outboard and inboard, the flow of the database is always a Mimosa standard, which is power through the driven direction. And that's what these Mimosa sequence numbers are. Give it a pump. Select the type. And these quadrants are default. They basically tell, is it the front of the machine, the back of the machine, and that's for a DT6 reading that grabs 6 channels at the same time. Coupling, belt, chain, how is it coupled? Maybe it's a grid coupling. And now we have a unit train. We can go back and edit the individual things again, modify, give it a general description. Whatever you like there. And then we go ahead and finish, and now we'll see that down on the facility, the area building, we have now a new unit train with a motor and a pump. One last step we need to do is just add, for the positions, measurement points. Horizontal, vertical, axial, we can just toggle these guys on. We can give them unique descriptions if you want to name them uniquely for your own situation. Or we just simply add them. And we can do this two ways. We can add them with this column and names, or just simply graphically. We want all the basic areas covered, and then maybe some other odd place. Alright, so now we have unit train, units, measurement points, the works. What we're going to want to do now is take readings on these and do those from a route. So we'll select route. Let's go ahead and either select existing, or we can add a new one. Give it a name. And give it a description. And that's a route. So what are we going to put on the route? We just have to navigate down the tree to say what we're going to put on. Now we can go down individually and put on individual points in individual orders. A lot faster if you're going to take the whole unit, just to go ahead and grab it and say, get me the motor and get me the pump. And now I've got all on there. If I want to go ahead and edit, I can move them up and down. I can move them around, take them on and off through here, back and forth. When I'm done establishing my route, commit your changes. It's a save function. So commit your changes, exit, and we now have a route created. I'm going to go ahead and quit and run a route. Now run a route is an acquisition activity, so we have to go over to the acquisition panel, and here we have route, select a route, come up with a list of possible routes that are there. We just added this one, new route to run, and then once we select that, we can go into and select a given unit train. Here's our unit train, accept it. You'll see it populates the name and the unit that we're on here. We can navigate between the units, and let's go ahead and use a simulator for speed. Always want to apply the given settings so the simulator is all registered. And we'll just grab the reading, grab a reading, and then we'll synchronize, always yellow to green, and we see it's all synchronized, all green and synchronized. We will accept that. That will put it back into the database and run the clear, ready for a new reading. If we had more units on this route, we'd be able to select it and progress on down the route. We just created one. We didn't even select, so it says please select one. But we've already done that. So now we want to look at the data. We can either go over to the acquisition and try to recall, but as you see here, I can't because I have a route active. Route active is going to take control of the database. So what we want to do is we want to go off the route, release the database. Going off route clears, so we go through the clear routine. Back here, and now I can get back to the asset database and look at data. This would be back in the office after you've already collected it generally. Here is a unit train, and you see that, notice that when we get to the unit train level, this possible data pops up over here. If it exists, it'll be in a list column ordered by date. This is the one that we just took, so I'm going to go ahead and open that file. Comes back here, populates in our routine, and we can start zooming in. This, of course, is just a single simulator file, but you can get the idea, and we can navigate and look at the data. One other thing about going through, when we navigate down to a given unit train level, I can take a look at the data for this unit train or the new one that we just did. We can either open a file, or we can just simply exit back because we're just navigating, looking, adding, doing something in the database. And there's one last little option on this level here. Do you want to keep the unit train or not? What this means is I'm going to keep the actual name of the file when I quit. If I toggle this over to no, it won't keep it, but if I keep it, yes, what happens? What happens here is that I have the unit train name that carries through, so that if I went ahead and decided to take, well, in this case we have to clear out the data that we were looking at, and I wanted to take a new unit, so here's the unit train name. I want to go ahead and take some data on that. I acquire, not going to synchronize. We're going to go ahead and save that. Saving function will take the name that you have populated here, which also can be custom, but I wanted it to kind of refer to an off-route acquisition on this particular unit. So I'm going to save it. We see the name got put in, sticks in the date automatically, puts it in Smart Sensor Data directory, and we can go ahead and save it that way. So after it does its clearing, we can go into and take a look at it through just opening a file. That's the file that we just saved. Select whatever file we want, goes ahead and populates. We can navigate. When we're done, we clear it out. Get ready for the next.